All right, we're going to bust some budget myths today because I get a lot of people that are just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to learn how to budget. I don't want to budget my money. I hate budgeting. I hate the sound of it and all those things. So there's some really negative stereotypes around budgeting and some really negative myths and things about it. And so I'm going to bust a few of those today. So, budget myth number one, I don't have time to budget. The truth is, you don't have time to not budget. Yes, your budget may take you a few hours when you first are setting it up. It takes a while to kind of figure out where you are. It takes a couple months to really get used to budgeting and actually managing your money because that's really what you're doing. And it's not always easy at first. Absolutely. And it can take a little time. But once you get used to it, I mean, now when I make our monthly budget, I plow through that thing. I get it knocked out in just a couple minutes, 10, 15 minutes, go through and tweak what I need to. The whole month for budgeting, tracking all of it, maybe an hour at the most. I think you can find an hour worth of time in your month that's going to pay you back so much more. Right. So finding the time. So there is time. You just have to make the time for it. Myth number two, making a budget is hard. People like to use the excuse that budgeting is hard because it's math and they hate math, right? There's this negative stereotype in our country and our society for some reason that math is evil, it's bad, it's awful. Oh, I hate it. I'm bad at it. I don't want anything to do with it. Well, the reality is with this isn't college calculus, right? This isn't calculus class at all. In fact, it's basic math. It's not even always multiplication or division, it's adding and subtracting and just saying, where are we in this space? And nowadays, there's so many tools out there besides just your normal calculator. There's Excel sheets, there's budgeting apps that do all the work for you. All you have to do is put the numbers in. So this is not an excuse. This is not a reason not to budget. It is actually very easy to do. You list out your income saying, here's how much revenue, here's how much income we have coming in every month. Here's all of our expenses. How much do we have left? Hopefully we have money left. If we do, where are we putting it? If we don't, what are we going to do about it? Myth number three, budgeting is boring. So some people are more, as Dave Ramsey would call it, free-spirited. My husband is one of those, meaning they're not as into the details as some of us nerds out there, right? And I totally get that. And that's totally okay because we need both. We need the nerd, but we also need the free spirit, right? To help balance each other out. And I promise you, budgeting is as bad as you think. Once you get the hang of budgeting, it can actually be pretty fun, especially when you start seeing the results of budgeting, right? If you start seeing the progress you're making in your debt payments, or you start seeing the changes happening in the way your fast food budget was, you see yourself starting to live the life you wanted to live, do the things you wanted to do, budgeting can get really fun because that's what's letting you do those things. So budgeting is not boring. It's actually very exciting and it's really important for your financial wellness. Budget myth number four, a budget restricts me. In fact, a budget actually does the exact opposite. A budget frees you. By having a budget, you are actually telling your money where you want it to go instead of your money just being gone at the end of the month, right? Who's been there? I've been there where you like get to the end of the month, you're like, what happened? Where did all my money go? I had all this money there. I don't remember spending all this. I mean, I paid my mortgage and I did this and da da da. And once we actually go back and look at where our money went, we're like, oh my gosh. There was at one point where I was spending $100 plus a month on Starbucks, but I had no idea because I had no idea where my money was going. So my budget isn't restrictive. It's me saying, I don't want to spend $150 a month at Starbucks. I only want to spend $30 a month at Starbucks. So then it helps me put a plan in place for my money that then allows me to do the things I want to do. It gives me the freedom to actually spend my money on what I want it to spend on. If I want to go on a vacation, I want to do those things. A budget's not restricting me of that. A budget's letting me set money aside for that so I can actually make it happen. So just know these are 4 myths about budgeting. And I promise you, start doing it. Just take the first step. Get out there, figure out how much do I want to spend in these areas and actually see where the money's going. Because once you start budgeting, you're not going to want to go back.